So I found the articles and the audio this week to be pretty interesting. Thought it was surprising the last one, how those pink flags, those little signs that of the mental illness, you can see them even in very, very young ages, like even infancy, the babies, how they have sticky brains. So all the things that happen to them, I guess, stick. So the groundwork pretty much for mental illness can be laid in just childhood. The way they're raised, the interaction they have with their parents, the nature versus nurture thing comes into play there too, I think. And also, I thought it was interesting the second audio. I never thought about how much school nurses would be faced with like mental health issues in schools, but it makes sense too, since mental health issues will affect schoolwork a lot, even in young elementary school kids. Like the textbook was mentioned ADHD in the information processing section because that's one that really affects school and it's really noticeable in boys especially. It said since they're diagnosed more often, they're more often hyperactive and inattentive, and it can make it difficult to do schoolwork and to concentrate. They can be smart kids, but if they can't concentrate and they're hyperactive, if they're difficult kids too, then it frustrates teachers and parents are confused. And so I don't necessarily think that schools are obligated to help with mental health. That shouldn't necessarily be their obligation, but they are going to see a lot of mental health issues, especially school nurses, and it is going to affect schooling with kids. So I feel like they should definitely be educated on it. School nurses and teachers, it's not their obligation, but education about that is important because it's things that lots of students struggle with, lots of people, everyone struggle with, and if school nurses are going to see it a lot already, they should be educated so that they can help that kid because sometimes that child doesn't even know what to do. They don't know what's they should do. Maybe their home environment isn't too great. Like the article, it was talking about the example with Bobby who was being abused by his father, and if the school nurses could find out about the mental health problems, they could find out about abuse maybe in the family if we have more education and more outreach for mental health issues, and abuse can be noticed, and these mental health issues can be helped uh, earlier in childhood, that's caught, and the sooner it's treated, the better the outlook for the adult. Because in the case of Bobby, he was in his mid-30s when he found out about his mental health issues, so it wasn't looking too good for Bobby. But in elementary school or as babies, even as the last audio was talking about, it's better to just catch it soon. So education is very important, especially for the school nurses if they're going to see it. It's not necessarily an obligation. And also, what else can be done in schools about mental health? Well, I feel like there's not an incredible amount. Like, they can't get involved necessarily in the family. There's a lot going on in the family environment that would definitely affect mental health. Like I mentioned in this the textbook a lot, it depends on child's temperament, how they regulate emotions, how they respond to things, how their anxieties are, and their relationship with the parent. Also, school environment, neighborhoods, all those different factors all combine into one. So school can't necessarily change or influence all the spheres that the child is in and that influences their mental health, but it can be a safer environment. As Bobby in the article also was talking about, he didn't feel like school was a safe environment, so he didn't want to go anymore. But school is, as the book shows, the more time kids spend in school, the higher their IQ anyways, so it's good to still be in school. So if the kids don't want to be in school because they don't feel safe, because they don't like it, because it's a bad environment for them, and well, if it's a bad environment, can you really blame them for not wanting to be there? But so just making school a better environment and educating on mental health and those outreach programs, those programs that they have in school, the programs like the 4 R's that teach children about their emotions and regulation can have been shown to help. So programs like that, education, very important, and can definitely help children's and middle children's mental health development.